So most of you know my content is not just about sales techniques, sales training, persuasion, and those things. That's a huge percentage of it. But a lot of you know that I'm a behavioral science enthusiast. And one of the most unique concepts in behavioral science comes from Daniel Kahneman. And it's a long acronym, but what the acronym stands for is what you see is all there is. Now, you guys have heard a variation of this, for a long time. All of you have heard the saying, you don't know what you don't know. But what you see is all there is, and you don't know what you don't know, point to more than just like, okay, yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right? But not only do you not know what you don't know, you'll actually create some shit out of what you think you know. And that's what you see is all there is does. This creates stories in your mind where you think, based on some things that happened, your mind puts together all of these cause and effect like scenarios that you have pieced together. Oh, because this happened, this must have happened. And because that happened, this other thing must have happened. But unfortunately, most of the time with what you see is all there is none of those things are accurate. So you've come up with this whole story, this whole backstory of why things are the way they are, and none of it's true. And so, what you see is all there is also goes, that you don't know what you don't know, right? Goes into where you are looking at, decision making, data, reports, whatever. And you think you see a causality. You think you see this story that's unfolded in the data. But because you do not have the unknown variables, you don't have the, I don't know what I don't know, what I see is all there is. We don't know how much of those cause and effect things were luck. The Daniel Kahneman, Amos Tversky came up with kind of the formula that they believed that success is 50% skill and intelligence and preparation and all of those things, and 50% luck. One of the more interesting, analogies that they use to talk about this phenomenon, this 50% luck phenomenon, is they'll say, okay, imagine that if Stalin, Mao, and Hitler had a 50% chance of being born female, what would the world look like? It's pretty trippy when you think about it. We put a cause to so many different random events. A lot of times we think these CEOs or these people who pick stocks are so brilliant because look at all these amazing choices that they've made that they ended up winning with. But if we looked at all those choices, although they did end up winning with some, the evidence may have pointed to a better decision at that time, and they just got lucky. Also, we do this to ourselves. We do this to others. They may have chosen the best possible choice at the time based on all the available evidence that was there, but then they failed. And so we look at that now with hindsight bias and we go, oh, because they failed, that was a bad choice. But what if it wasn't a bad choice? What if it was the best available choice at the time? So what you see is all there is such a fascinating concept. We could talk about this thing for hours. It's like the butterfly effect or something. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys while I'm out on this overcast California day. Have a good one.